Most people think tattoos are only about art, trends, or rebellion, but the truth goes much deeper than that. The place someone chooses for a tattoo can quietly reveal hidden emotions they may never speak out loud. A tattoo on the neck tells a different emotional story than one hidden on the ribs. A tattoo stretched across the chest carries a different psychological weight than a tiny symbol placed behind the ear. Without realizing it, people often turn their bodies into emotional maps, marking certain places with memories, pain, confidence, protection, or identity. Some tattoos are designed to be seen by the world every single day, while others are hidden like secrets that only a few people will ever discover. That choice alone can reveal more about a person's emotional world than the tattoo design itself. When someone places a tattoo on highly visible areas like the hands, fingers, or neck, psychology often connects it to visibility and identity. These placements are difficult to hide, which means the person may feel a strong desire to express who they are without apology. In many cases, visible tattoos reflect confidence, emotional independence, or the need to stop hiding parts of themselves. For some people, these tattoos become a declaration that says they no longer want to live according to other people's expectations. The body becomes a public statement instead of a private space. But confidence is not always the only reason. Sometimes, extremely visible tattoos can also come from emotional survival. A person who spent years feeling invisible may unconsciously choose tattoo placements that force the world to notice them. The tattoo becomes more than ink. It becomes proof that they exist, that their story matters, and that they refuse to disappear into the background anymore. Hidden tattoos often reveal something completely different. Placements like the ribs, thighs, stomach, back, or chest are usually connected to emotional privacy and protection. These areas are close to the heart, lungs, and vital organs, which psychologically creates a feeling of vulnerability. People who choose these placements may see tattoos as deeply personal, emotional symbols rather than social statements. Sometimes the tattoo is connected to grief, heartbreak, trauma, healing, or memories that feel too intimate for public attention. Instead of showing the world, they keep the meaning close to themselves. In psychology, hidden placement can represent emotional boundaries. The person may want control over who gets access to their deeper emotions. That is why some of the most emotionally meaningful tattoos are the ones nobody ever sees. Beneath clothing, beneath skin, beneath silence. These tattoos quietly carry stories that words often fail to explain. What makes tattoo placement even more fascinating is that many people do not fully understand why they choose certain parts of their bodies in the first place. They may think the decision was random, aesthetic, or based on pain tolerance, but psychology suggests the subconscious mind is often involved long before the tattoo needle touches the skin. Certain body areas carry emotional meaning because of how people experience vulnerability, attraction, shame, confidence, and personal identity throughout life. The chest, for example, is one of the most emotionally symbolic tattoo placements because it protects the heart. A tattoo placed there can represent emotional armor, lost love, grief, or the desire to protect feelings that once caused pain. Some people place meaningful names, dates, or symbols over their chest because it feels like keeping those memories physically close to their heart forever. Others may choose chest tattoos after surviving emotional trauma, almost like rebuilding strength over a wounded area of the body. Neck tattoos often create a completely different psychological effect. The neck is impossible to ignore during human interaction because it remains constantly visible during conversation, eye contact, and social connection. People who tattoo this area are often communicating emotional fearlessness, personal transformation, or a willingness to challenge social judgment. But hidden underneath that confidence, there can sometimes be emotional exhaustion from years of pretending to be someone else. The tattoo becomes a turning point where the person silently decides they no longer care about fitting into traditional expectations. In some cases, neck tattoos psychologically represent reclaiming ownership of identity after periods of suppression, criticism, or emotional control. The same pattern appears with hand tattoos. Human hands are connected to action, creativity, connection, and self-expression. Tattooing them can symbolize the need to feel seen, remembered, or emotionally authentic in everyday life. Then there are rib tattoos, which carry one of the deepest emotional energies in tattoo psychology. Rib tattoos are extremely painful, hidden most of the time, and placed near vulnerable organs. Because of that, they're often associated with emotional endurance and private meaning. Many people choose rib tattoos during periods of heartbreak, major life change, or emotional rebirth. The pain itself can become symbolic. For some, enduring the tattoo session feels almost therapeutic, like transforming invisible emotional pain into something physical and meaningful. This is where tattoo placement becomes less about appearance and more about emotional storytelling. Every location on the body carries a psychological atmosphere that shapes how the tattoo feels internally. Even small tattoos behind the ear or on the wrist can represent quiet reminders, hidden memories, or emotional grounding during difficult moments. And sometimes the most mysterious part is this. People may spend years believing they simply liked a certain placement, only to later realize that the body chose the location long before the conscious mind understood why. The deeper psychologists study human behavior, the clearer it becomes that people constantly communicate emotions through physical choices without realizing it. Tattoo placement is one of the strongest examples of this silent, emotional language. Every visible tattoo, every hidden symbol, and every carefully chosen body location tells a story about how a person relates to the world and to themselves. Some people place tattoos on their shoulders or upper backs because those areas psychologically symbolize carrying emotional weight and responsibility. Others tattoo their legs or feet because movement represents growth, escape, freedom, or the need to keep moving forward after painful experiences. Even sleeve tattoos can reveal something powerful. Covering an entire arm often creates a feeling of emotional control and identity reinforcement, almost like building a visual shield that becomes part of how the person presents themselves to the outside world. Over time, the tattoo no longer feels separate from the body. It becomes part of the person's emotional identity. What makes this even more interesting is that tattoo placement can change throughout different stages of life. Someone who once chose hidden tattoos may later move toward visible placements after gaining confidence or healing emotionally. Another person who once covered highly visible areas may later begin choosing more private placements because their emotional needs have changed. The body becomes a timeline of psychological evolution. Each tattoo placement reflects who the person was emotionally during that specific chapter of life. That is why old tattoos often carry emotional energy even when the original meaning fades. The placement itself still remembers the emotional version of the person who chose it years earlier. In many ways, tattoos become emotional fingerprints left across the body over time. There is also a darker and more mysterious side to tattoo psychology that many people never notice. Sometimes individuals repeatedly choose painful or vulnerable areas without understanding the emotional reason behind it. Psychology suggests this can occasionally connect to unresolved emotional wounds, self-punishment, or the subconscious desire to regain control over pain. The human brain often tries to transform emotional suffering into physical experiences that feel manageable and visible. This does not mean every painful tattoo placement comes from trauma, but it reveals how deeply emotions and body choices can become connected beneath conscious awareness. The body remembers experiences even when the mind tries to forget them, and tattoos can sometimes become silent markers of survival, healing, rebellion, or emotional release. By the time people begin understanding the psychology behind tattoo placement, they often start looking at tattoos completely differently. What once seemed like random body art suddenly feels deeply human and emotionally revealing. A neck tattoo may hide years of emotional transformation. A rib tattoo may protect a heartbreak nobody knows about. A chest tattoo may quietly guard memories too painful to speak aloud. Tattoos are rarely just decoration. Very often they are emotional maps written directly onto the body, revealing hidden parts of identity that words alone could never fully explain. If you like our topics, please subscribe. Turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.